would have thought that we would be in this position, right? With a brand new open work permit to Canada that is really going to be an answer to people's prayers in the US who are stuck on H1B visas with no pathway to permanent residence, who now have a potential opportunity to come to Canada and apply for an open work permit. But just 10,000 of you. And we're here on Saturday, July the 15th. The opening of the portal to apply for the work permit is supposed to be tomorrow, yet no information from IRCC. So all of you guys are sitting there waiting, wondering, where do I even apply? It's a weekend, so you cannot find representatives that want to help you. This is something I never fully appreciated. Within our firm, we are only going to take one client. Well, to ramp up for one work permit like this, where there's no instructions, you don't know how to even apply, even the representatives don't know. Well, those who've been around like I have for a while have a pretty good idea what's going to happen. But even if you wanted to hire an immigration lawyer to help you or an immigration consultant, there's no one wants to work to do one work permit on a weekend. It doesn't matter how much you want to pay. Like, it's the summer. So you guys are left spinning in the wind without direction or guidance. And I am so grateful that I made the decision to basically kill myself the last week to put together a course, do live master classes, to do everything that I could to educate and to teach. As a former high school teacher, this is what I love to do. So I didn't know what immigration was going to do, and I still don't, as of 11 a.m. here Mountain Time on July the 15th. But I know how to apply for work permits. I've been at this for over 20 years. And so what I did was I taught people everything that I knew about the process and encouraged them to collect as many different types of documents that could potentially be needed and set themselves up with the information they need. So no matter what happens within the portals, they're going to be ready to go. This is just unconscionable as far as I'm concerned. And I have some issues significantly with this fine man, Minister Fraser, because you guys did not need to do this. And I can tell you that there's a lot of people who may have wanted help. And it's one thing to not really give them an opportunity to do so, because like I said, most immigration lawyers and consultants just don't want to bother. And I'm going to give you guys a warning, one big warning. If you do have a firm who says, yes, we can help you, please make sure that you are the only person that is going to be assigned to the person that's helping you. And 2, find out who it is. Because some of these consulting firms and some law firms will hire a bunch of people and they will have basically a workshop session to try to teach them how to file the applications on your behalf. And I'm sorry, someone who knows nothing about immigration is worse than you filing on your own. If there's someone that you hire that is going to represent you, and I've taken one family, and we're going to do this together, we're going to figure this out together. And if the cart opens and we know nothing tomorrow, well, we're going to be ahead of everybody else, because there's going to be 2 people working on it. And you can watch my other videos on my top 5 things to prepare on the YouTube channel and wherever you're watching this. But understand, you guys, this is a crappy situation that IRCC has put us into. And I had a nice trip planned today with some friends up to a high alpine lake where I was going to fish for these beautiful little golden trout. Never done it before. Never in my life. And because of IRCC, I'm not going to do that. I need to be here for my client. And I need to be here for the hundreds of people that are subscribed to my DIY course. So what options are available for you? If you can't find someone that's going to help you, someone that you can trust, then DIYing it is the best way to go. But if there's no instructions, what do you do? So I'm committing. I'm going to be around all day today. Anytime there's a new notice, any new notification, any direction, I will go live. Now I'm going to go live first in my community group. And I'm just going to show you guys what I've got going on. I know that, some people are thinking, oh, Mark, you're just lining your pocket with money. Well, am I getting paid for this? Hell yeah, I am. And the sacrifices that I'm making, the knowledge that I'm sharing is going to give people that take the course a massive leg up on those who have no clue how to file a work permit to Canada. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a race to file, at least as long as IRCC does what they said they're going to do, which is cap it at 10,000 spots once the first 10,000 are reached. So am I making money? Yes, I am. Am I grateful for the opportunity to work and provide for my family? Yes, I am. And I make no excuses for that. So I get emotional about this because it's been a crappy week One of my close friends, I just got notified, passed away this morning, and I was able to see him yesterday, which was really nice. But hey, this is what you guys get, right? I am not pretentious. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm just a farm boy from Alberta, Southern Alberta, who worked his freaking butt off to become a lawyer and had tremendous support from family and friends. I have a wonderful wife who supported me to do what I'm doing. And man, I'm sorry. It's hard. He just passed away this morning at 6. So anyways, gratitude is what I feel for life. Gratitude is what I feel for my country. Gratitude is what I feel for even this opportunity that Canada has provided to all of you who maybe are in the US with no pathway forward, who are stuck with an employer you hate, who you have no ability to change, who, you're essentially indentured servants. In some cases, that's how you feel, right? And Canada is opening this opportunity. And after this is just the beginning, you guys. I know that many are seeking, and with the STEM targeted draws that Express Entry is going to be doing, there's going to be pathways forward for you. And through the provincial nominees, there will be. So step 1, let's figure out how to get you this work permit. Then after that, in my community group, I'm going to be also holding additional further master classes and sessions that will all be included on this topic, which is what after? Once I get this work permit, then what options do I have for Canada if I do choose to come? So I'm going to get to a lot of questions here. I appreciate all the support that you guys give, but I just want to slide over and tell you guys what I have going on right now. And you are not too late because the government hasn't released anything. So all of the information that I've shared, if you're locked, like you're not working today, you've got time, you can still go in and learn from all of the content that I have. Tonight at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I'll be doing my final large 2-hour masterclass, but you'll be able to watch everything that's already in here. This is where you go. There's a link in the description. You can log in and join now. Okay, what does it look like inside? This is what I wanted to share with you. So this is the actual course. Now that I've finally been able to spend, well, the night before last, I had 1 hour sleep, and last night I was finally able to get a little bit of sleep. But you can see it starts learning the basics, what it's about. There's still a lot of information in here that is supposition. It's information that is designed to give you the tools that you need depending on what the portal looks like, to explain how Canada does this. Now, I still believe that it's likely going to be in this IRCC Portal account. It was shut down. We know it was for maintenance. If we go over here right now and go IRCC Portal and we pull it up and we open it up here, let's see what we come up to. You can see there's a maintenance notification. So today's the 15th. It says that it will be unavailable from 3 to 6 p.m. July 16th in order to perform system maintenance. Yeah, BS, whatever. Like, I wish what would happen is Minister Fraser would say, we're going to do it in this portal. And so we're going to shut it down because this is why, right? And I've done previous videos talking about this. Yes, you apologize for inconvenience. Well, then freaking tell us what you're going to do. So when you log in here to the IRCC portal, this is where I think at this stage, my best guess where you're going to be filing your application. So when we as a community, really that's what we are now, this Canada H1B DIYer course, this community that we have, all the people that register for it, you can see on the right here, the schedule for the course materials. These are all of the master classes that everybody has been able to benefit from throughout this whole period of time. And they're all here. All you have to do is click on it and then you can gain access to it. Tonight's is right here and they're all available as recordings. But if you go through, you'll see what I start with. Module 1, learning the basics. Module 2 is how to actually work in this IRCC portal, right from the beginning all the way through to finalizing it. And I've got 4 different lessons that are all queued up here that talk about how I set up and file my applications within this. But understand, this is just a guide. It's to get you familiar with how IRCC works and what to expect. And then the other program, the other possible portal could be the GC key. And if we go over here, this is the secure account, IRCC secure account. This is how it differs from the IRCC portal. Why I've talked about this, why there's 2 different portals in the past, I won't reiterate it, but this GC key could be the place. And if this is the place, actually, I would have appreciated it, because then you can have everything ready, all the forms completed, and then submit it. Boom. But how do you know what forms are needed? Well, I spent hours going through and basically setting up all of the forms that you would need if you were applying for you, your spouse, and children with this GC key. So yes, people talk about it online. I've seen them. You know, the 1295 form, the 1294 if there's a study permit, the temporary residence application if you have children that are minor and little. Remember, if your children were born in the US, screw this whole process, right? As if they're coming into Canada and they're under the age of school, then they can just travel on their US passports. You don't need to worry about applying for a visitor visa for them if they're US citizens. If you have children that are older, then yes, do a study permit because they need it. But even your US citizen children who need a study permit, they can apply at the port of entry for that study permit. So technically you don't need to include them, but for my clients, just to make things easy, I'm telling them to include their children's study permit applications when they file. But you can see I've got a breakdown of all of the forms as well as individual tutorials on how to complete them. Everything that I can think of. Yes, it's possible IRCC could come up with some other cockeyed different form to complete, but that's what we have here. Then the final module is the document checklist. And when you go in, I don't care showing you right inside here, you'll see I actually have all of the potential checklists that the government has used for work permits here. And then that's basically in this course, the ones that I feel are likely to be possible candidates for information that you may need or documents you need to provide. But then I've got a breakdown, and I don't mind sharing with you the list that I have: passports, your H1B status, digital photos, records of employment, proof of funds, resumes, marriage and birth certificates, letters of explanation. So those are some of the high ones that I guess the high level ones that I have in my course. And then what I don't have right now is I go back to my to the actual main screen here. Let me just jump back. If I go back to the main modules here, the one that I don't have is finalizing and submitting it, because guys, we just don't know. So this is the course. This is what's available. If you click and you enroll in now, it will populate how much it is. It's $347 US plus whatever tax is applicable. If you're in the US, there's no tax. So it's pulling up Alberta tax, which is 5% for me, but this is how you register. When you come in, you will have access to our community group. And I'm just trying to remember if I have that. Well, basically the community group is where you can post questions. People are sharing information. We're crowdsourcing everything we know. I go in and answer every single question that's posted. And yeah, I'm just here as a full-time kind of support. So am I making money from this? Yes, do the math. And this is totally worth it for me and my family to do this, but I've spent probably almost 7 years building this platform to be able to do what no other immigration lawyer in Canada is able to do, and probably consultants are not equipped to do this. So I want to let you know, you can click on the link, you can subscribe now, but let's let all of that go and let's talk specifically about how you can DIY and some of my additional top tips and advice that I want to just roll off to you. I've got a bunch of people that are tuning in here. I'm going to take just a few minutes to just do some shout outs because this is really important to me. I love engaging with you as a human being. Yeah, so let's see who we have here. And I guess one thing I do want to also express appreciation for the people that are in the group. If I slide back here to the landing page here, I talk about why it's not too late, and it still isn't too late to subscribe. I want to thank these people. Just the other day, I said, hey guys, if you've got something, if you feel this is worthwhile, then let me know. So these are the comments that they posted. And so Leon and Sohail and Shrikant and Pavan and Mitab and Amarjit and Diraj and the Traveling Soldier and Vignesh and MPB and even Sarav here, who says, I envy your commitment. These are just a handful of the many people that are benefiting from this course. And we're just all one big, committed, focused, motivated family. So thank you so much, you guys, for support and everything that you do. So once again, let's do some shout outs. So we've got Marco. Hello, Marco. Akinsanye, it's good to see you over on LinkedIn. Krishna, good afternoon to you. Sahil over in Bangalore, India. It's great to have you watching. And Wakar over in Pakistan, great to see you. thanks for connecting in. We've got Krishna is in Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, Krishna. Jackson, joining from Cameroon. Hey, thanks for connecting in. Okay, I'm open here to answer questions to you guys. As you can see, I'm not a hoarder of information. Do I have information in that course that I'm not going to share? Absolutely, because these people have made it possible for me to basically set my practice aside for a little bit to do this. So, all right, let's get to some questions. So, okay, group says, hey, Mark, in your expert opinion, do you think any notarized documents might be needed? Kindly advise. The only one that I see needing to be notarized is if you're in a common law relationship and you are applying, and maybe you may need to upload a statutory declaration of common law union, which is a specific form that's required usually for common law spouses. So if you're married, no. Anything else? No, I don't see anything. Okay. Ria says, hi, Mark, thank you for the help. Do we have any clarification if only tech workers will be eligible to apply? No, we do not. I am on an H1 visa in the US, but a non-tech worker. Should I still submit an application? Ria, unless they say otherwise, 100% yes. 100% yes. And every ounce of information they've provided talk about H1B specialty occupation visa holders in the US. And yes, they have promoted it and let people know what are some of the sites. Let's see if I can remember. Right here is one of them. Okay, that is attracting tech talent to Canada, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's just restricted to tech. So if we scroll down here, programs we're introducing, you can see coming July 16th. And then if you go further, there's actually the buttons where you can click here to learn more about these other pathways for tech. But you can see here, these two are coming. Well, coming tomorrow, I expect one place, it says, follow us for updates when these programs go live. Okay, let's go over here. And yes, I did my post. This is my last one that I was kind of upset with IRCC. I said, come on, how hard is it to simply release instructions for the Canada Work Permit, the H1B Work Permit? If you're not going to release anything until tomorrow, then tell us. I can then head back to the river to catch another one here of these guys. So it's a really cool river, lake sturgeon that is in the South Saskatchewan River. And I just caught that guy just yesterday. And yes, I was able to take a day off at least to kind of recover after 2 solid weeks of preparing and creating this course. Like, imagine how long have they had this announced, right? How long? And so I basically created this entire course, all the modules, all the support, like no sleep to do whatever I could to help you guys. But let's go here. Let's see if there's anything else. Let's see here. Yeah, some of my good friends are liking my tweets. Let's go here and let's just see. So IMM or sit in Canada. Anything while I'm live, my friends? I don't see anything. We can see students. We can see stuff about international students, but no tweet here at all yet. You've got the tweet 22 hours ago about the new UK youth mobility arrangement, which is great. Like, congratulations. If we look at this here, there's nothing here. If we go to the newsroom, we'll see that even today they launched the pathway, or they once again announce, which they've already announced this, a pathway to reunite families and support Ukrainians, hold the immigration law, and especially Igor Kyryliuk, one of my just good friends who's in our firm, is driving the ship with all of these initiatives. So, but why? Like, if we refresh this page, is it here? Oh, for a minute there, I thought there might be something. No updates here. All right. So IRCC says, hey, if you want to learn more, follow us. So I encourage you guys to follow these programs for updates. Usually Twitter tends to be number one. At least that's what my good friend and super awesome Twitter, tweeter, and who's the first out of the gate to update, Tamara. She's always releasing this stuff and sharing it. So that's where I would encourage you guys to look, right? And to watch and be aware. Okay. So no significant update there, Ria. All right. Next. Yeah. And Wakar, thank you for that. Are you guys on drugs? OC says this is not live, looks pre-recorded. No, it's because I freaking do awesome live streams. Unbelievable. But there's lots of haters out there. So we'll leave it. But OC, hell yeah, this is live. All right. As you can see, I'm pulling on your comment right now. All right. Okay. Stay strong, Mark. You're doing God's work. Well, I'm trying, Satya, and I'm so excited, my friend, to help you. I'm so excited. All right. Okay. Krishna says, need to be active working in tech industry. We do not know that for certain. We do not know that for certain. And thanks, guys, for everyone who's commenting about that. Okay, Ravi says, hey, Mark, is it okay to apply for my daughter later on? Mine is rejected, then she will also has a mark. That's right. I'm planning for a master's in Canada, but I don't want to jeopardize that chance. So understand, Ravi, that there's a lot of decisions that people are going to have to make. And when it comes to applying for this work permit, there are, if you include family up front when you're submitting it, like, okay, let me take a step back, Ravi. There are very, very few things that I can think of. If you can get your application in and you've completed the documents and information that they've asked for, it's supposed to be a simplified process. And some of the other consultants online that were commenting that they just, weren't going to bother with this because, then we're going to focus on it as a business line, which is code for, I can't make money from this. So why would I bother wasting a weekend to help one person? I get that, but understand when you're applying for this application, it's supposed to be simplified. So there's going to be fewer things than normal that are going to trip up your application. It's not like an H1B. When you include your spouse and children within your application, then they can all get those permits with you and travel with you. If you choose not to include your spouse and children and maybe list them as non-accompanying, yes, you can probably submit your application faster on your own than including them. If it's through the IRCC portal, well, even in all situations, but the rules, we do not know how they're going to be modified to accommodate for people who have this open 3-year work permit under the H1B, this work permit holder category, who then want to apply for a work permit for their spouse. Because the rules right now, the way they're built, are designed for you to have to be in Canada working for a company on a work permit, or have a job offer lined up before your accompanying spouses and children can then apply for dependent work permits to come with you. That's after the fact. And that means that you're going to be separated from them. And I don't know what the impact is of you leaving Canada or leaving the US to go to Canada to obtain your work permit, get a job, when your spouse and children are left in the US. Like, do they have the ability to stay there? I'm not a US immigration attorney. I suspect they may have to go back to India and wait to apply. How long is it? Well, it's usually about 1.5 to 2 months. And maybe that makes sense for some of you, but maybe it doesn't. So there's a lot of different factors, Ravi, and I wish I could just answer everything right now. But even consultations now won't help because we're out of time to sit down and look at your situation. All right, Son, good to see you. Mission Cross, good to see you from the US. Okay, Anish says, I'm in the US with H1B approval notice. I do not have H1B visa stamp on my passport yet. Am I eligible to apply? Unless we hear otherwise, you go ahead and apply. Simple as that. Okay, joining from Tampa, Florida. Oh, I've been to Tampa. I watched the Black Eyed Peas in concert a number of years ago when they were in Tampa with a global firm. When I used to do global international work. So I've been there, guys. I've done just about everything. All you H1Bers who, have these big global immigration firms representing your employer. I used to do a lot of the Canadian inbound work for a lot of those big global immigration business firms. And over time, I just didn't like the way things were going. So I decided to shift and work more with you on an individual basis and not sell my practice to a large global firm or one of the large accounting firms and join them. So so I was in Tampa and it was beautiful. I loved it. It was so much fun. Yeah, we went to a Black Eyed Peas concert, the global firm that sold themselves to another larger global firm. When they moved, I didn't want to go with them. And so I had to change my practice. But anyways, so yes. So do we need passport photo for spouse, Indian citizen, US citizen, 5-year-old child? So here's another pro tip. US children can travel to Canada on just their passport. And in fact, they can even apply for a study permit on their passport. So keep that in mind as you're going through this process. I always get digital photos for everybody, just in case. But for the US citizen child, you do not need to do that. They can get on a plane with you and travel on their US passport. They don't need a visa to come to Canada. And they're one of the only citizens of a country that can apply for a study permit right at the port of entry too. So keep that in mind. Great question. All right. Satish says, hey, Mark, I know the months and years of residence during the last 10 years, but I do not know the exact dates. Is that okay? Or should I dig in to collect the exact dates? Do everything you can to dig in. We don't know what the specific questions are going to be asked. Usually with residents, they want the answer down to the very day. You're going to do the best that you can to remember. If you can't, then you're going to basically, if it's a portal, you're going to have to guess and put something in. And then the letters of explanation, like I teach all the students in my classes, are their secret sauce. They're like the gravy on the mashed potatoes here in Canada. Realistically, the LOEs can save any potential, apprehension of misrep if you have to fill in some dummy information in the form to get it to advance. All right. And what I mean advance is it won't let you complete and advance to the next screen unless you fill everything in or something in the boxes that they have. That's the online filing world, right? Wakar, next week on Wednesday, I'll be back doing, and Thursday at noon. Actually, no, I'm not going to be. I'm going on a family holiday next week. The week after, yes, we are. It'll probably be 2 weeks, but Alicia, I'm not sure if she's going to do her live next week. But come back, Wakas, and we'll get those in a future upcoming live, or better yet, Wakar. I recommend that you book a consult with us. So there should be a link to a consult. If you've got a refusal, there's no time to contemplate. You need to move quickly to figure out what the best options are. So just book a consult. Okay. Yes. And Rusha, this is something I've already answered. Can I apply as a principal applicant only and just denote my spouse? So I've already covered that. There's pros and cons to it. Do we require digital photos? I always get those. Okay. I don't blame OC. Your streaming service is too good. Looks pre-recorded. I can do all kinds of things like bringing on the minister or whatever. And because I've been doing this, like if you look back to the YouTube, when did I first start doing this? I guess maybe 2017, where I started doing lives. And yeah. And what immigration lawyer is going to be stupid enough to spend the amount of time that I have? But I'm, why do I do what I do? Because I love to. This is my wheelhouse. This is stuff that I'm good at. So, I before I went to law school, I was a high school teacher. I love teaching. But with a family growing, I couldn't make sense of 4 kids and an amazing wife who wanted to stay home and raise my children so they could be actually awesome, productive members of their community and citizens. And they've turned out phenomenal solely because of my awesome wife. But as a family, we had to make some sacrifices, and I had to work my tail off to go to law school. But while I was in law school, I had the opportunity to work on the border during the summers as an immigration officer. And then with the hearings officers, basically when your application is rejected, the government has hearings officers in some types of applications where they are specifically designed to represent when people appeal or when they challenge refused applications. So I did that when I was going through law school. And so I've taken all of this and then spent, you can imagine, countless hours to try to create this in a way that, people, it can help. So I find that's awesome. So even within the, you saw how fast I was able to turn around the course. Like, I'm sorry, you guys, like it's almost comical. Like Igor has been exceptionally helpful. He has done so much to do this. But when it comes to the modules and the courses, like you can see, like, let's see if I go to the very beginning, like you can see, what do we have? 27 lessons that I've done. And almost all of these have videos. The documents I don't, because the documents are really what they are. But yeah, all of this whipped around as fast as possible to make sure that you guys have something that you can use. And there's no information. So what are you getting from your WhatsApp pages? What are you getting from your the other Facebook pages trying to share information? Like, it's complete guesswork because you guys just don't know. At least I have 20 years of working within Canadian immigration and as an immigration lawyer. And I basically teach everybody everything I know in the course. And there's still time. And I will, as soon as we get any updates, let's go. Hey, let's slide back again. Let's go take a look. Is IRCC, have they updated anything? Let's refresh the page. Nope. Not a bloody thing. Anything on the newsroom? Let's update this. Nope, nothing. Okay. Let's keep going. You guys are funny though. No, and it's okay. Please ignore those comments. You're doing great. No, it's okay. You guys are so awesome too. You know that I'm sensitive. I think when you invest so much in this, you put your heart into it so much that you just, little comments. Like there was someone who said, oh, you money grubbing lawyer. Like, what, you know, my lawyer down in the States only charged me X dollars for my permanent residence, and you guys charge $5,000 or whatever it was. And I was just like, those are really hard for me because I know what we offer. And I know what, you know, at times, I know what it means to use paralegals and assistants in any kind of a firm, a law firm, a consulting firm. Like these people aren't, like they're not experts. They don't know everything and things get missed. And there is this, guys, I do not see this happening again. You know, with the layoffs in the US and the tech industry is one factor that triggered this. And that's what's led a lot of people to say it's only going to be tech. And that's possible. It could be. But yeah, it's just, okay, keep moving forward here. All right, Hardy says, QI's IRCC releasing the rules for H1B today or tomorrow? Good question, Hardy. I would sure hope the program delivery instructions or at least a questionnaire would be released, you know, a guide, some information today so people could actually prepare. But hey, that's one more reason why all of the people that have joined me here in my course that have been educated and learned, like there's still time for you to get the high points. These lessons are designed to be quick and fast and expedited. And if you have any questions, you can still jump into the group and join us tonight live. And if you know, the moment I'm going to have more than one live if they actually release the information. The moment they do, I will open it up and I will go live in my community group and I will talk immediately about what I see in front of me and what it means for my students in my class so that they can then go and basically revise the information that I've been sharing in here. But anyways, yeah, we'll keep moving forward here. And yeah, so we don't know. Okay, Onab, what advice will you give to one applying for tourist visas? Okay, we're going to pass on those questions. Can you list of the docs that we should keep handy? Course is pretty expensive. It's too much. Delhi, okay, well, okay. Can you list of the docs that we should keep handy? Okay, I think I already went through that. You saw the documents that in the, I gave you a sneak peek at those. At the time of filing application, is birth certificate really required or any alternative official document having a date of birth can be used? So Prashant, in every case, if you do not have it, remember, immigration, the officers, they're giving virtually no opportunity. When it comes to children, right? It's children birth certificates, not adults. So adults are not going to be required to provide a birth certificate. But if you have children that are accompanying you, then in that situation, we would typically want to see birth certificates. Often in Indian passports, parents are listed in the children's passports, and that can also work, Prashant. And failing that, then a letter of explanation, and that's what I use when I can't fill in spots. But we don't even know 100% if that's required. Okay, is it okay to add family later? So fasten up the process. We've already covered that one. What time do you expect the portal for submitting the application may go live tomorrow? If history holds true, it's always been noon Eastern time, 10 a.m. Mountain time, 9 Pacific. You guys can do the math. That's usually when we do that. Shankar says, can a husband and wife both on separate H1Bs apply individually? I've talked about this in my prior videos. I strongly discourage people from doing that just because you want both of you looking at it together. If you're both filing on your own, you could miss something. You could upload the wrong document. But when you're working together, both, and it doesn't matter who's the principal, right? The other can be an spousal open work permit holder that can come with. One of my tips, like my top 5 tips, what were they? Do you know what? I'm going to reiterate, and I'm just going to share with you guys again my top 5 tips. Oh, let's see. I got too much going on here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so here's the top 5 things for those of you who haven't watched the video. Number 1, get your information sorted out. So you don't know what form they're going to use. So the work permit forms, the ones that I have in my course that I kind of scrolled past, and if you want to go back and watch the video and freeze frame them, you'll see the actual forms. At least make sure you have that information ready to answer it in whatever form it comes in. Keep your documents under 2 megabytes. The IRCC Portal has a maximum file size of 2 megabytes, whereas the IRCC GC key has 4. But if it's the portal, you do not want to have anything larger than 2 megs. And this number 3 is your situation, Shankar. Find a buddy to help or a spouse, but get someone that can look over your shoulder and help you so that you don't have to go back and double check. You do it as you go. Is it correct? Yes, let's advance. Is it perfect? Yes, let's advance. And with the client that I'm working for, and he's here watching, there's going to be him and his spouse and Igor and me all there supporting on Sunday. All right. And this is just a simple one. Have a backup in case your internet goes down. What's your backup, right? This is an online filing. And if your internet goes down, you're hooped. Do you have, data on your phone that you can sling your laptop to? And be prepared to submit on a laptop or your desktop computer. Don't try to do this on your phone. And then last, subscribe to the course. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Okay. Viraj says, do we have to pay the fees before getting selected? What if we're not getting selected? Do we lose the fees? If you understand, if you don't get selected, it's going to be probably because the portal is closed and you can no longer click to submit. And this is the infuriating part, is you're going to go through this. You're going to work hard. You're going to be in the system and you're going to think everything is bliss. Then when you're ready to click submit, your submit button won't work because 10,000 people have already beat you to the punch. If you have paid fees in advance, at this stage, I'm really thinking that that's not going to be what they're going to require. Both the IRCC portal and the GC key both have fees embedded in it. So it's like the final step before you submit is to pay the fees and then it gets submitted. There was a time when I thought maybe the IRCC fee portal would be where you'd pay, get a receipt, and then upload it. But personally, I don't think that that's the direction that they're going to go. But hey, we don't have specific information. Okay, so that was Viraj. I'm going to scroll down. Anyone else? Okay, it doesn't look like anyone has said that they've released any information. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Next. Okay. Okay, Satish says, I have the secure key login link, but unable to navigate to the portal sign-in link. Please provide the same. Thank you. Satish, others can maybe post it. In my course, let me pull up my course. I actually have the link to where people can get, they can get a token, like the actual key to be able to log in. Let me just go in here. And this is the one here. I don't know if you can see when I share my screen here. This right here is where you go to log in to the IRCC portal. And then if I just go back to, just give me a second here, guys. Because I stream on a bunch of different locations all at once, I can't just share the login with you. But let's see, maybe will it fit on here? No, it doesn't really fit. This is the URL. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. For you YouTubers, I think I can do this. Bear with me. And is this live? Are you guys questioning whether this is live or not? Well, obviously, a lot of you I recognize have not come and really followed me and subscribed to the channel. Although I've pushed over 50,000 subscribers in the last couple of weeks, which is pretty cool. And I was going to do a big celebration, but I'm going to have to do that next week because obviously the whole world has just been crazy with all of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this in my own chat on the YouTube channel. And then in that fashion, I can actually pull it up here. There it is. Okay, so that's the link to take you to this here, not that one, this one, where you can put your email address and then it will give you an invitation code. And then from there, you have the ability to then go to the IRCC portal. Okay, so there you go. As you can see, who shares this information? Hopefully you guys appreciate it. And hopefully you see that I'm not all about just only giving people help or support if they buy my course or if they hire my law firm. Hopefully you can see that. And why do I do this? Because I want you to get to know me. I want you to trust me. I want you to like me. I want you to realize that, that I'm an authority in this area, and that the information that I share is stuff you can rely upon. And then if there reaches the stage one day where you guys say, man, I need an immigration lawyer, like to help with my permanent residence, or I need an immigration lawyer because I have family that want to come to Canada, or I myself, dang it, I should have hired Mark, or I should have taken this course and I missed out because I didn't understand how to fill in this one part, and I got blocked out of the system, and I missed my spot at the 3-year open work permit for H1B visa holders. And then next time you think, dang, I'm going to hire Mark to help me and just not take a chance for the $347 he's charging me US for his course. If people then later, I want them to remember. And really, there's a lot of jerks out there, right? There's a lot of people that don't really care. And the one message that I want to give people is that I do. And I think, only recently, I guess it's been about 1.5 years now, we started doing like more stuff on Google, because I just relied so heavily on social, and, YouTube and Facebook, they don't share my stuff as much anymore. And so these reviews mean a massive amount to us and our firm. And I would expect no firm to have a 5, because there's sometimes I have consultations with people, and I tell them, look, what you want to do is lying. It's misrepresentation, and you can't do it, and I won't support you. Or I'll tell someone that, look, you don't have any opportunities for Canada. I've reviewed your situation, and, after talking with you, you should really consider another country. And then they're upset because I can't figure out, some pathway for them when they legitimately don't qualify. So those would obviously be, probably a 1-star review. But anyways, whatever. Let's get back to questions here. Okay, next, let's see. Okay, so I think we've shared that. The application link, we do not know exactly where it is. So this is all just guessing. You're welcome. You're welcome for taking your question. Where can I check the latest policy about the application? There's none, Eric. None released at this stage. This is what I'm looking for. As soon as it is in my course, every student will know immediately. And I've got like hundreds of other people that are all looking at the same time as well to let me know and let everybody else know in the community, because we're crowdsourcing this sucker. We're sharing information. And here's an example of how awesome these people are in the course. I don't know a lot about obtaining an FBI police clearance from the US. Well, other than what the government website says. All of my clients get their own. But there were instructions on the government website that seemed to indicate one of the paths was going to take a couple days to get your FBI police clearance certificate. But then some other students in the course shared their experience going and getting it within hours. And it's all in the community group, so there's the course, and then there's a whole separate community group that the people are in, and just freaking awesome. And that kind of givers, and I actually have one thing I told them, I said, look, the top 3 people that are the most helpful sharing, I'm going to give each of them a $100 Amazon e-gift card to basically spend wherever they want for just being awesome and being helpful and sharing. And so that's going to be fun. We'll probably give that out Sunday night, I think. And in Sunday night, I'm going to go live and do another one, probably 7 p.m., I think, where we celebrate all of our successes. And this isn't my first rodeo with this type of a process. As I've told in other TR to PR pathways, that was the other program very similar to this for permanent residents. And I workshopped close to 500 people through that process. So yeah, so I learned a lot from that process that's then, flowed into what I'm doing now. I've been doing way more masterclasses now to help people. And in all honesty, by now, IRCC had released information. So if you guys see it, by all means, post it here, post it. And what'll happen is I will shut this down. I will go immediately into our masterclass, and I will go live and talk about it in real time, what I'm seeing before I won't even look at it. I don't have time. My students don't have time. As soon as they release any information, I will go live in my masterclass group. And then after I'm done that, then I will meet with my client and work through what it means for my client. So hopefully get some sleep tonight. All right. Maggie says, good morning. There are 6 months in work history that I declared I was working, but in fact not, in a visa application in 2015. I want to correct that in my new TRV application. Can I? What work permit? Is it a Canadian work permit that you applied for? Maggie, this is a tricky situation. Obviously, you're going to go back and you're going to correct it and you're going to disclose it up front. But that type of thing, if you declared work that you didn't do is considered misrepresentation in Canada, and it can result in problems. But if you're proactively disclosing it, immigration tends to be a little more understanding than if they discover it themselves. Okay. Okay. This is a great comment. Off-label question. Maybe you can answer later. Checked with friends who went after working on H1B in US, and they're like, don't come here. Life is really hard. Every single person, every person has to have their own reasoning for doing it. So why is life hard? So is it because they're struggling to get a job? Is there, just something about their personal circumstances where they chose to live? Every single person in Canada has an equal opportunity when they come to go forward. And when I think about this particular work permit that allows you to work anywhere you want, get connected with good companies, it doesn't matter where you go. Not everybody is going to have a good experience, son. And so to a large extent, it depends on your attitude. It depends on the circumstances that you've placed yourself in. It depends upon who you are, right? And there's been times where I've wanted to work at certain places and really I felt I was perfectly qualified, but they didn't feel I was a good fit. I didn't get the job. When I was applying to law school, in Canada, I worked my tail off. I had, just about a 4.0 GPA going through university. And when I was applying to law school, the University of Manitoba was the only law school that offered me early admission so I could start planning for my family. Now, I probably could have gotten offers at the end of the end of the summer from other schools, but I had 2 children and an amazing wife. And so Manitoba was the only one that offered me early admission. So I went to the University of Manitoba, and I just absolutely loved that school. Robson Hall was phenomenal. But there were other places, including in the US. I wanted to go to Brigham Young University in Provo, rejected. I wanted to go to the University of Calgary even, where I ultimately finished my law degree. They rejected me. Vivek rejected me. UBC rejected me. Where else did I apply? New Brunswick rejected me. Dalhousie rejected me. After an interview, Dalhousie rejected me. So there's opposition in everything that we do. And sometimes if you leave the US on an H1B, what you're getting in Canada is permanent residence, the ability to truly be free. And in the US, if you can have a pathway to permanent residence green card holder, then absolutely. But I'll be honest, there's a lot of haters out there, people that, that just feel like the world owes them something and that they aren't willing to take responsibility for maybe even decisions they've made in their life or things that they've done that have limited their opportunities. Like, we're all responsible for what happens. And yes, we can be in crappy situations, but there's been a lot of people that I've seen who've come from horrible situations, who've landed in Canada with nothing, who've made that lemonade out of lemons. But it's not going to be for everybody. It's not. But thank you for posting that. That's a good question, son. All right. Okay. Guru says, will police certificate be needed? No, it will not be needed up front. Not be needed up front. Okay. Amarav says, hi, me and my wife both have visas. Okay. I think I may have answered this one, but no, for the same reasons I indicated before. I recommend that you do one and you both work on it together. What's the validity of an FBI report? I have one from November of the last year, so I wanted to know if I should get a new one. In that situation, 6 months if you obtained it in the country in which you live. So I've been sitting in the chair a lot over this last little while, you guys. So yes, yeah, there you go. Okay, keep zipping. For the current country of residence, if I'm currently in the US, should the to date be the future? Yes, absolutely, it is. Like within the forms, it is. If you're wondering why isn't it filling out, the to date will either be today, depending upon if it's your address, but if they're asking about your status in a country, it's the expiry date of your visa. So it will be future. And you'll see, if you're completing the forms, it won't let you complete it. Krishna, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, at what time we'll start? Good luck. I'm still waiting right now. Let's flip back while we're on here. Let's see if our dear, I won't flip over the screen, but let's see, any changes here? Student Direct, Help Center, still nothing there. Anything in the newsroom? Refresh that page. Nothing in the newsroom. Still nothing. Like, just let us know, right? Just tell us nothing's going to happen until tomorrow. And then, and then fine. At least we know. But man, like, come on, minister. Like, this is, yes, you minister, you. I'm not shaking the minister, guys. I'm not shaking the minister. I'm just doing this for emphasis. Okay. Minister. All right. We have fun here. We have fun. Okay. Not a clue, Krishna. Abby. Noon Eastern time is when past portals have opened up. Age limits? No. This is Femi. This is why this is so freaking awesome. The open work permit does not have age limits to it. It doesn't. Lots of times about when do you think it will open? I've answered those. What website should we look at specifically? I've shown you this already, and I show this within the course. This, let's see, this one here, which is attracting tech talent to Canada, has these spots here where you can click, and when you open them up, it takes you to where you can actually start, and it's going to look like this, guys. But up here, these two programs don't yet have information. They just say, follow us on Facebook, Twitter for updates, which I dutifully do. I dutifully refresh my page, and they dutifully tell me squat, nothing. All right. Pinned, great. Doesn't help me. And Ukraine doesn't help me. Actually, this is UK. This is the interesting thing. How fast are they actually going to update this? Because the reality is, even with the UK one, that was announced yesterday, and the Ukraine one was announced about the family sponsorship, the family reunification, which of course is not even any specific information. But once again, another big announcement that's going to be to come in October. So nothing. Anything here? Anyone complaining here? Nope. Just my good friend Betsy, awesome immigration lawyer in Ottawa. She retweeted and liked. So thanks, Betsy. That means a lot. Okay, let's go back here to IRCC, and we're going to keep this here. Personally, I go with Twitter, but we'll see what happens. And if you guys get anything, then you tag me, let me know, because yeah, I'll be going crazy, releasing information and sharing any helpful stuff that I can. And I'll let you know one other thing too. Number one, I'm going to jump in my community group, which my client is in the community group. And so they will get the first breakdown of how this works out and what it means for everybody. Then I can tell you, then after that, I'm going to meet with my client to debrief, go over our plan, get everything ready. Then after that, I'm going to go live right here on this channel to give you my take and to give you what, obviously, you're not going to get help from anyone else. It's Saturday. I'm going to try to help as many people as I can just with general tips and guidance and direction. Then at 7 p.m. in the evening, I'm going to go back into my community group and spend one last little, here's what you need to do, get prepped up. And do you have any questions about the materials and the templates and the letters of explanation, resources that I have in the course, all that kind of stuff. So back to the questions. So one, if I flip over here again, just to finalize this one here, which is the tech talent one. And then the other is this right here, which is the newsroom for Canada. You can just Google this, which this one was announced this morning, right? So I'm assuming that if they announce, it'll show up right here. Now, I also get emails, and you can subscribe for these RSS feeds if you want to, or via email to get notified. I don't know if it'll get in fast enough for you guys to get notified, but anyways, that's where I go to. Okay, let's see what's next. When do you think? Where will it be? Don't have stamping. Okay, those of you who are, I'm just going to answer this. Now, I'm not a U.S. immigration attorney. Immigration hasn't identified specifically what's required. I know some of you are working in valid H1B status in the U.S. and you may not have this stamp. And I tried to get a U.S. attorney to join me, but it's the summer. People are on holidays, and clearly when you're, and I think it's unethical for any firm to have any individual representing more than one person. I think it's unethical, and you guys want to avoid it. So it's not profitable for people. And if you only can file one application in this process, then why would people want to take summer off as a law firm or a consulting firm to only represent one person, and especially a Sunday, and really for me a Saturday too. Well, unless you're like me, and I have this unbelievable community group, and I can't tell you guys how grateful I am for everybody that's subscribed. Like, it is something that, like, I hope what I'm offering is beneficial to everybody, but what it does for me and my family, you have no idea. In addition to, my awesome kids, who very shortly, there comes but for a few days, when my daughter will graduate from her teaching degree, my oldest daughter, and my youngest daughter starts school. Actually, my youngest will start in September, and then my son comes home from his mission in Chile in September, but then he won't start school till January. But by one day, I miss having 4 of my children all in university at the same time. So you guys know what you paid in H1, to get to your H1B. Some of you went to school, right? Especially you that completed your studies and went the OPT H1B route. So you do the math. Okay. And I made that choice, and I want my kids to pursue secondary education, and I will do everything I can to make that happen. And thanks to you guys well, obviously I had to have the idea to create this, right? And put the thousands of hours into building the platform and everything to make this possible. But if it wasn't for people subscribing to the courses and leaving like really, really kind comments, like these fine folks here, just the other day, they left these for me. Leon and Sahel, Shrikant, Mitab, Amarjeet, Pavan, Traveling Soldier, I can't remember what your name is, Daraj, NPB, Sarav, Vignesh, all of these awesome people. If it wasn't for them subscribing, it would be really hard, because to do this, you have to give up a lot of hours of free service and helping and giving to convince people like you that I'm not some schmuck that's just some money-grubbing lawyer, or someone who's paid someone to create some fancy YouTube video just for entertainment value that doesn't offer any substance, that ultimately doesn't care about you. And it's hard in this industry to get people to really, really believe that at least us in our firm, that we genuinely care and we make conscious decisions when we're representing people. Do we charge for it? Oh yeah. Do we race to the bottom in our fees? No, because we feel what we offer is as good or better than any representative out there, and no one's doing what we're doing with the courses. So, all right, I digress. IRCC Portal, maybe. Melwin, maybe. Okay. We've had other people asking about applying together, and I've talked about how I like applying separately, even if you both have H1Bs. I really believe it's, at least for making sure that your application is perfect as quickly as possible. I would prefer to do just one. My daughter is still in college. Shall we apply for her as well? If she's under the age of 22, 21 or lower, you could apply for her. But if she's in college and going to school and she's on like a US study visa, then, that's a decision you guys are going to have to make. Okay. All right. Hobby says, do we need to submit all documents at the time of application? All the documents they're asking for, you do. Vivek, good to see you. He says, it's great to know and see your efforts extended your support to help people looking for good representation. Thank you, Vivek. And the thing that I love most about the courses is that I can teach this stuff, and I don't need a paralegal or an assistant. You guys become the paralegals of your own application. And with my help in the course, then you understand what you need to do, the tips that are going to increase your chances of filing quickly and accurately. That's really what it comes down to. Is this going to be rocket science, you guys? And this is really important, such that you just won't know how to do an application. Well, no. And the reality is, I had some tweets from a consultant who basically said, if you got an H1B, you're smart enough, then I'm not dedicating my business line to this, which is code for filing one application for one person on a Sunday is not something I'm interested in. I'm making enough money somewhere else that I don't need to do that. And that's totally cool. You've earned the right to do what you want to do when you build your own business, right? That's what the whole capitalism is all about, right? To choose how you want to live your life. And I totally respect that. But the problem is not you guys being dumb. You guys are super smart. It's not understanding the convoluted process that IRCC sets out. And it's not that you can't figure it out in time. You can, but you need to do it faster than the person beside you. That's in the apartment beside you. That's maybe working for the same company in the US that also wants to get the heck out of there and come to Canada. It's all about speed, having things ready and being prepared for anything. That's what the course teaches. So thanks, Vivek. I appreciate that. Siddharth says, do I need to get the digital photograph handy or is part of biometric? No, get the digital photo ready. If you don't need it, then fine. For the GC key, you need a photo. We don't know what's going to happen. So I always encourage people to have that digital photo ready. Inspiring you, is it necessary to prep the IRCC login? Well, all of my people in my course, I tell them to get their GC key login, have it ready, complete their IRCC portal login, have it ready, just in case that's where they go. It's one more step that you won't have to do, but only if those are the portals. But there's no harm in getting it set up, which I teach people how to do in the course. Any application fee? If so, how to pay? Yes, there will be fees, and those fees will be a part of the application process. At least that's my belief. IRCC does have a separate fee list that people can go to and pay and get a receipt. But for both the GC key and the IRCC portal, both of those have the payment portion embedded at the end of the application process as the last step before finalizing the application. Okay, we covered this one. Arvine, PCC is not mandatory, but I encourage all of my clients to get it just in case. I'm just trying to stick to just the, okay. And this is fine. This is great. Okay. So this pragmatic poet, usually I see this, people who, and I'll bring you on, why not? It's great. Okay. I don't know what this person's background is, and it hurt. Like I feel for them. Are they a Canadian citizen who just doesn't want any more immigrants to Canada? Are they someone who they themselves has wanted to come to Canada and just knows that they can't because their human capital is too low? Like, my heart goes out to you, because lots of people are feeling this way. They're feeling that this whole process is ridiculous. Maybe it's someone in Canada who spent so much money studying or, to complete their education, and they've got a work permit, and immigration is now opening this up. Maybe it's someone in Canada who was on an employer-specific work permit, like a GTS, which is kind of similar to an H1B, who now has been laid off. And now they see open work permits for all of these US H1Bs when they themselves don't have options. So I don't ever feel bad about people posting these comments because, I don't know what the background is behind it, but yeah, heart goes out to them. Okay. Great response. You're very welcome, son. Okay. Yeah. So we talked about that, Sakate. No, there isn't any age limit. Let's see what else we have here. And if you've got questions, throw them in. Yes, this is live. We've already had that discussion. And I will go live for a little bit here. I won't shut it down. We're at about an hour, but there's other people that have tuned in a little bit late. So let's keep getting questions and I'm happy to answer them. One of the things, if you are tuning in late, you'll probably see the title of this, DIYing it. And so all of the videos that I've been trying to share, all of the top 5 tips for success, all of the top 5 reasons, applications will get rejected. Those are legitimate. And you need to, generally speaking, understand those. What I'm talking about in this as well is my actual course. And so there's still time to connect in. There's lots that I have not yet revealed because the government hasn't revealed it. But by going in and registering and joining us, you can be a part of the actual course. And I wonder if I have it. Yes. And as I showed at the beginning, this is what it is. And it's chock full of everything that you would need to prepare no matter what IRCC throws at you. Learning the basics, preparing the forms. And I have individual tutorials on all the forms that Canada is likely to ask you. And then this one, all the supporting documents, this is possible supporting documents. And then of course this one isn't there. So you can see the headings, it's all there. If you want to freeze frame it after, you can see the list of documents that I'm having my students be ready with. And as a former high school teacher, I take great pride in making sure my students are ready. So you can click on the link below in the description, wherever you're watching this, and you can subscribe right now. There's just a wonderful group of people that are connected in, and there's a community group where you can post questions and get those answered and all those kinds of things. And I will do everything I can to continue supporting you guys. Okay. Let's see here. Thank you so much, Alva. I really appreciate that. He said, nice seeing you. Hope you're having a great weekend. Best wishes to the tomorrow applicants. I'm going to give you one of these, my friend. Let's see if we've got it ready. I haven't done one of these for a while. There's a little bit of an applause for you. Thanks, Alva. You've been following me for how many years, my friend? Like, it's been years. Okay, next. Okay, Patrick, you're right. You're right, Patrick. Who's in the class? You're right, Patrick. I feel no news is good news. Most of us are protected and equal otherwise. You're right. Especially all of you who've taken the course, you guys are prepared. So in reality, if they don't release it until tomorrow, there's no information. You guys are going to be so far ahead of everybody else. If they release it today, then, you know, people will have at least time to get their acts together and get things in order and work without going to bed tonight. That's true. You know, the drawback for me, Patrick, is then I can't show you exactly what to do, which is what I always expected. But notwithstanding that, you'll be more prepared than virtually anyone. And I would argue even law firms, most immigration lawyers, they do work individually with clients, but there's some bigger firms that might have a bigger marketing machine or consulting firms that have a bigger marketing machine. They'll be hiring individuals that don't know anything about this on an expedited process because they've got a whole bunch of people to sign legal service agreements to then help them on Sunday file their applications. And the people helping them won't even know what they're doing. And in some of the bigger firms, the consultant or the lawyer at the top doesn't even know the real intricacies of these portals, not in the way that we do, and not in the way that I teach people. So you're right, Patrick. I never really considered that. And this is so bad because it's the weekend. Most lawyers and consultants don't want to work on the weekend, and it's not worth it to them. And I'll be honest, we've had so many people request to hire our firm to help them. But Alicia had some really important family things going on. Igor is going to work with me and my one client that we have, but we didn't take anyone else. We directed them to the course. And I honestly believe that given this rapid fire, process, you're right, Patrick, people that take the course are going to have that edge. And I guess that's what I'm giving them. All right. Hobby says, do we need IELTS results and West transcript evaluation? No, you won't for this. Vikram says, any chance of people have been laid off and are back in their home country? I don't know. Yeah, this is devastating. Like this, Vikram, you have no idea how much this hurts me to see. Now, many of you who are on H1B that have work experience in a STEM related field, Canada is now starting to do category specific draws for express entry. And I'm going to start seeing those CRS scores, just like you, drop for STEM. Right now, they're still in the 480s. And as they drop, individuals like you, Vikram, may very well have an opportunity to get an ITA to go through permanent residence through express entry. But I will do lots more lessons. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Let every single person you know who's interested in potentially looking for PR, even after they get their open work permit to Canada, before you travel, I'm going to do videos in our course in particular on, best provinces to go to, why you would want to select one over another, the pathways from the open work permit to permanent residence. We're going to have videos on all of those. So definitely subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the course, because we're going to have more stuff in here. Okay, great question. Let's see who's next. Okay. Sana says, if there's a Canadian cash limit on my airport, should I take the max amount allowed and then take the rest through interbank transfer after landing post COPR? Oh, okay, Sana, we'll get those questions. We'll get those after. You can see I've done this for so long. A lot of it is express entry PR related. So, Alva says, I do remember the live show with Betsy during the pandemic season. She was awesome. Yeah, that's right. You've been following for a long time. Sun says, just thinking out loud, how would US perceive it while H1B renewal, and if this will come up then? Good question, Sun. That's something I can't answer. Ultimately, Canada and the US do share information, but Canada doesn't care. They don't. Here we go. Viraj says, US doesn't care what you do when you are outside US. Sure, but I guess the question is, if you've got a Canadian work permit approved, will that, I don't know, let's see. Will that somehow affect whatever you're applying for in the US if they know you already have one approved? I don't know, Viraj. Personally, I don't think there's going to be any ramification to applying for an open work permit to Canada? I can't see any. And if you guys can see any, let me know. Even if you never use it. Okay. I feel no news is great news, which means all of the applicants are equal. Otherwise we will lose because of the savvy tech guys bot. And I'll be honest, when I was the national chair of the Canadian Bar Association's immigration section, I had a discussion with the head of the TR to PR pathway, who I would consider a friend. And she said part of the reason they didn't release the instructions until the day before was for that reason, real or perceived. But yeah, there's no tech savvy bot guy that's going to be able to, game the system. All right. Tawebi, good to see you. I think we've talked about a PCC as not being an absolute necessity. Let's see here. Yes, Grav says proof of funds, is that mostly optional? Well, I advise people to have, at least 3 months or 4 months of bank statements just as a backup for proof of funds. That Indian guy. Just want to say thank you. While I haven't subscribed to the course, I still appreciate all the free videos you've made so far. And that's why I do it, right? I want to be able to help every single person in some way. I want to touch every single person, in a way that benefits their experience trying to apply for the H1B, whether they're successful or not, whether they subscribe to the course or not. The only difference is I know that those who do pay the extra $347 US are going to be situated like 100 times better than just trying to follow answers to the questions here, because it's literally a how-to. The lessons are filled with video step-by-step of me walking through the actual process. So if I go here, for example, and I go to, let's take this one right here, which is lesson 2B. You'll see here as I scrub through here, it's okay. It says I actually walk through the exact process, how to fill in the answers, how to advance through it, what to put in each sections. And that's not something that I can do in a live here. Okay, let's go. We'll go just a little bit more and then we'll wrap it up. Let's do a quick little test. Has IRCC done anything? No. Do you guys see anything? Do you see anything from SitIm Canada on Twitter or any of the other platforms? Boy, it's going to be a long day for me, you guys. No, nothing. Wow. Okay, maybe we won't hear anything until tomorrow. So be it. We'll figure it out, you guys. Let's see what is next. Who's up? Okay, Parzival, what do you have here? I submitted an express entry profile as practice. Good for you. I hope you have your language test results and your WES for speed tomorrow, and it took me 40 minutes. I realized my CRS score is 490 and I might get a PR invitation if I miss this work permit tomorrow. Well, hey, absolutely. But even if you get the work permit, you can still get the work permit even if you receive an ITA, so yeah, great. Parzival, that's great. And remember, guys, I have an express entry course too. Okay. Yeah, Corey, what overhead can I expect to pay roughly for legal representation, or is it specific to what type of visa needed? It always is. Yeah, it always is, Corey. And every firm is different, right? From what I charge to somebody else, every firm is different. Yeah, Sarab, good question. When are they going to have some official information? Your guess is as good as mine. Sandeep says, thanks, Mark, for doing this. The start date for H1B status in the application, is it day I arrive in the US? I have to assume that there is a US component to this, you guys, because it says US H1B visa holders in the US is what they've said repeatedly, but we don't have the specifics. Okay, Srinivas says, I have an H1B valid till September with my old employer, and I applied for employer change and got I-797B. Need to be stamped in India. Shall I use H1B with my old employer or a new one? You know what? Throw it all in, my friend. Say, hey, I had one and I got a new one. Bundle it together and throw it all in. That's what I would do. Okay. Sana, hey, Mark, really appreciate what you're doing. Thanks for the help. You're very welcome. Okay, Sandeep says, my wife's passport is expiring in November this year. So is it prudent to apply for a work permit later after her new permit? We are in the middle of renewing it. Please advise. Yeah, I would, if you can apply November. Do you know what? That's a tough one, Sandeep. I think either way, there's pros and cons. And either way, for most people, once you get to Canada, there's likely going to be a pathway to extend the work permit of your spouse. So I'd probably lean more on the side of just submitting it to get it and get the work permit approved. But if you don't travel immediately, to Canada, and when you ultimately, like if you're not going to be in Canada before she expires, then you're going to have to, do a little bit of a dance to make sure that the new work permit, is in place when you're actually ready to make Canada your home. And so either way, it's having a passport expiring then, there isn't really a good answer. There's pros and cons to both. Yeah, inspiring. I just got my H1B approved starting this April. Will I be eligible? That's a good question. Are you in the US? Are you working already? Can we submit express entry and H1B open work permit application at the same time? Heck yeah, you can. You bet. Siddhartha, if I get 3-year open work permit approval, may I know 3-year validity will begin upon arrival, or will they provide any specific dates? When you arrive, the work permit then should be issued for 3 years on the date that you come to Canada to actually get the work permit at the port of entry. Okay. Okay. And just to let you know, Anna, we're just talking here about, we're just talking about this H1B stuff. Okay. We do have a Facebook here. Krishna, okay, says, I have a valid H1B, but I didn't travel to the US using it. Currently I'm in India. Am I eligible to apply for this program? I'm not certain about this. It looks to me like you actually need to be in the US, but they could come back with different information. Application fee, how much is it going to be? Well, that's pretty easy, actually. So if I go here to the IRCC fee payment portal, actually, let's just go to the fee list. I'll share with you guys here. If we go to the fee list here and we look at it, it depends, and I can show you the fees are always listed. So for temporary residents, if you're applying for a work permit, which this is, and I saw one of the websites, like if you Google Canada H1B, there's some websites that are offering information on how to apply. One of them, they did not put the right information in, largely because I don't think they practice exclusively in Canadian immigration, but other ones. And so they created this fancy website, and they're going to screw a lot of people over because they didn't include the second part. But for a work permit holder, usually it's 155 plus 100 per work permit. So if you're a principal applicant, it's going to be 255. If you have a spouse, they're also going to be paying the 255. And then if you look at some of the other things that you have to pay for, if you have not yet completed it, biometrics is another fee that's $85 per person. But if you have a family, like you, your spouse, and children, if you have 2 or more, you're going to pay $170 for that. And then let's see, if you have a child, let's find the study permit here. Just give me a second. Once we get up to temporary here. If you're applying for a visitor visa for a child that's maybe a minor that's not school age, it's $100 for that. And temporary resident, study permits are $150. So there you go. Okay, just about wrapped up here. Surneva says, thank you so much for the advice. Doing a great job. You're very welcome. And let other people know about this. Please share it. Let people know who are wondering and have been trying to find a lawyer to help them, or an immigration consultant. They can't find someone. There's still lots of time. There's still lots of time to come, join, log in, get access to all of the resources. And you can see here, even within the course, if I go to the main site, all of the master classes that I've done since the beginning, which are lots of questions being answered, sharing tips, strategies, they're all available, and you can click on the links to get access to them. All right. Okay. What is next? Okay. And I know some of you savvy folks are going to, you're going to take everything that I share here and use it, and it's going to help you. And I'm just happy. Okay. Without subscribing to the course. Do we need to apply for the H1B holder only, or for the dependents as well? Thanks for your help. Sarab, I always recommend that at least for my clients, that they include their family and apply as well. Other people may be going out there advising, just do yourself because it's faster. I agree. It is faster. But the reality is, for me and the people in my class, they're going to know what to do. They're going to be able to file quickly, and they're going to have their families with them when they come. There isn't going to be a need for separation. Okay. Krishna says, will it help if you already worked in Canada in the past and now you want the work permit? Will you be able to get PR in the future? Well, you might be able to, depending upon your human capital and a number of different factors. But as far as the work permit, if you're on an H1B right now and you meet the eligibility, you can apply. Hobby says, should I also submit an application for my wife? I have an H1B and my wife is on an H4. I would encourage you to do an open work permit for her. Okay. Maloon says, thanks for doing this. My passport expires in 1 year. Will I get the open work permit for 1 year? What happens if I have a renewed passport valid for 10 years when I enter Canada on work permit? Will I get 3-year work permit? Well, the reality is you may very well be able to. If you get the approval, you get a new passport, and then you travel to Canada, it's possible that you could get, well, at the end of the day, let's put it this way. If you get the 1-year open work permit, if your passport's expiring in 1 year, they're going to issue a 1-year work permit. Simple as that. And then as far as the options for extending it after, there may be the possibility to do that, but right now IRCC hasn't said. But there are other pathways for extending work permits as well. I'll be honest, Maloon, I recommend that if you do get get it approved, that you book a consult and we can talk about that, because that's just a little bit more complicated. Okay. Hoishin says, my spouse is working in the US under H1B for speed purposes. Should I apply? Okay. And I've talked about this one as well, Hoishin. I prefer to have 2 people for completeness, accuracy, because you can be fast and submit it by yourself. But let's see. I've got so many questions and everything's mulling in my brain. Whether your wife applies or not, she needs to help you file the application. If you both are submitting your own, then often you only have yourself to review. And in my mind, when I'm going through, I want someone checking everything so that we can say, does everything look right? Yes, then advance to the next screen. Does everything look good? Yes, then advance. You got 2 people looking at it. So I prefer to do it that way, but there's lots of people that may choose to file on their own and be just fine. Do you think it will need a criminal record? No, it won't at this stage. But if you have a criminal record, that's going to be a problem. And yep, Prasanth is just joined in here a little bit late. We don't know at this stage, but the PR portal is probably the best candidate site. And as far as time, well, we were hoping they'd give some information today. We still haven't seen anything. And so when will the portal open? We still don't know that, but likely around noon Eastern time. There you go. Okay. And Grav, hello to you. Okay. We'll end off with that. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining. And remember, as we go through this process, the speed is going to be the factor. Speed is going to be the issue. Everything that you do, you're going to be racing against somebody else, but you can't compromise accuracy. If you enter the information wrong, they can refuse to accept the work permit. So it's a balance of being fast as well as trying to be accurate. And within the course, that's what I teach my students, how to prepare things in such a way that you can go through it quickly. You've got as much ready to go as possible so that you can include the information, you can upload the documents, and you can file it properly to get one of those precious 10,000 spots. So I recommend that you guys do that. Come join me. I'll be in my lives maybe later this afternoon, maybe 7 o'clock tonight. We'll see. It's going to be a long day. All right. And paying the fees, Ramya, are in on your credit card. They will be converted to Canadian dollars. So your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, it also says Visa debit, MasterCard debit, as well as some other ones, but it'll convert it to Canadian funds. All right. Okay. We're going to wrap it up there. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me, and good luck.